Load this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Alright, well, welcome to the one where we talk about anime!
Oh yeah.
Yay!
Nice. Welcome everybody to our loyal listeners.
Our loyal
wherever
listeners.
you guys may be. We appreciate you guys listening to us. But let's go ahead and get started on this, shall we?
Alright, good. So, we thought we'd switch it up this week and kind of have a format in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Alright, well, to start us off, there's a popular YouTube series called WatchMojo.com
Mm-hmm.
where
I've
they
heard of
do top 10 lists.
Yeah.
And they do top 10s of pretty much everything. And then they explain why or like about it or whatever, blah blah. Check it out, it'll be in our description. But they have they do anime ones. Every time they do the anime ones, it's always wrong. Like it's so wrong. Like I can't even. It gets all of their anime ones get so many dislikes, so many comments of people just like
Yeah.
whining about like how could they choose that as their tops and stuff like
And
that.
all that other stuff. Yeah.
All that other stuff. So I thought it'd be a great idea if we did our own little top 10 lists.
Top 10? Okay, I'm down.
Where we kind of just change, or not change, but do a correct list.
A correct list. Well, I was gonna say though too. I mean, there is like a lot of anime, so
Yeah.
it's like, you know, for one person it might be.
Might be different, but it's like, for the most part, you think that a site that actually does like polls and stuff, that they would follow the poll, and yet, because they take information from their users, like people vote and stuff, and then they do their own personal picks, and then they do like overall like ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that doesn't really do it, because you gotta really do it on like what most people would choose,
Okay.
rather than just do it on like sales and stuff, because
Or what's popular or something.
yeah.
Okay.
So this week I figured it's a good one to do. Top 10 gateway animes.
So the ones that kind of get you into anime.
Yeah, the ones that really you would be like, if you had someone who never watched anime before,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be like, hey, you should watch this one.
Okay, and like get them into it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay.
And I figured kind of, because you can't just throw one at them, you'd have to really know the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this one wouldn't really be a top 10, but probably the 10 most
The 10 most
that you would do.
that you would recommend to people?
Yeah, so like the different genre, like, this one for horror, this one for a comedic person,
Okay.
kind of thing. Because you don't want to, if you have somebody who doesn't really like horror, you don't go and be like, hey, go watch Hellsing or something,
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're kind of matching the person who's going to watch it.
Ah, okay. I got it. That sounds like cool.
Yeah,
sounds
it
good.
worked.
Yeah. I get it.
All right, so let's see. Since we're talking about horror,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your gateway for somebody?
My gateway for horror. Well, to be honest, I haven't really seen many horror animes
Mhm.
just because that's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But possibly High School of the Dead because
It's like, me personally, I like the show.
yeah,
Oh, excuse me.
I would
But-
say that, yeah.
It's like with High School of the Dead, to try to get somebody who doesn't watch anime to watch something like that with all the ecchi in it
Yeah.
would be kind of a turn off.
yeah, there is a lot of ecchi in there for sure.
Yeah, that's my only thing. It's like, when you're introducing anime to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful of the ecchi. Because a lot of people, that's what turns them off of anime, is the ecchi.
Oh, like the panty shots and all
Yeah,
that
panty
stuff.
shots, boob shots.
Yeah, there is a lot of that in
ridiculous
in that show.
sized boobs and whatnot.
If it wasn't for the ecchi, then
Yeah,
definitely I would recommend that show because it's zombies and
It's
let's
zombies.
be honest, zombies are the big
The
thing.
big
nowadays.
thing, yeah. It's like that. I mean, story wise and everything, that's a great one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good, but
that would be
madness.
one to come later, probably.
Yeah.
It's like, for me to start out, it's like I already mentioned it, Hellsing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably do Hellsing Ultimate more than the original series. Just because the original series was so kind of bland.
Yeah.
And Hellsing Ultimate was so much darker and actually had more action to it.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I haven't actually seen Hellsing. Like, I haven't gotten around to it. People have told me I should, but I'm just like, I had so much other stuff that I'm watching right now.
Well, it's like if I had someone like Christian, who's on Bit Blast Network. He does like Retcon and some serious shit podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
He's kind of a horror kind of guy. This would be a show I would be like, hey, here's a show that you would probably really get into.
Okay.
And
be like, yeah, watch it.
Because it's a true vampire, which is what a lot of people like. They're tired of that Twilight or like the True Blood vampires where they're just like so normal and like almost lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
And like you got Alucard, who's just a true vision of what a demonic vampire should be.
Yeah. And Crispin Freeman voices.
And Crispin Freeman voices him, which makes it so much better.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I think Hellsing for sure. Then for horror. I mean, there's so many other genres too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, let's say comedy. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Because that's one that you would sit down and just be like, here's something that you can just sit down, laugh, enjoy. You don't really have to know anything.
Mm-hmm.
It would, for me, to introduce somebody, it would be Full Metal Panic Fumafu.
Okay.
Which is actually the second season of Full Metal Panic. Which, at first, people would be like, what? It's a second season. But you don't really need to know the story because it is just goofiness.
Okay.
So, it's like they explain pretty much who the characters are in the first episode. So, people aren't like, who's this, who's that, what's going on kind of thing. And it's just silliness of Sosuke Sagara just being completely silly and just not really fitting into regular human life.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
But really, that would be a gateway because that would bring somebody in. They would get a taste of what anime comedy really is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. For me. This is a tough one because there's so many like just comedy animes that are just funny, I mean, I know a personal favorite for me, and I did recommend it to a friend, and when he watched it, he absolutely loved it too. It was School Rumble.
Oh yeah.
Like I love that show. I think it's it's however many seasons, 2 seasons. There's like a third season with like 2 episodes or something.
Yeah, that's just the ending.
But I just remember watching it, and whenever I first saw Harima, I was like, nah, I'm gonna hate this character. Like, it's just so stupid. But as I continued to watch the show, like, he ended up becoming one of my personal favorite characters because he's just absolutely hysterical.
I cosplayed as Harima once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Years ago.
But, I mean, it's just, it's a good, just funny series. It's really lighthearted. Like, it's completely random, and a lot of the characters, like, they're always put in, like, funny little awkward situations. And they don't, like, they try to handle it the best way that they can, but it just completely, like, backfires.
It's just the fact that the 2 main protagonists are just so clueless about everything. Yeah. Just probably makes that show even funnier.
Exactly. Plus, you can't deny the fact that, the rivalry that Hanai and Harima have are like absolutely hilarious. They're always like trying to one up each other, and like
that would be one I would show that to people. Be like, hey, you want to get in the anime? Here's a good one.
Exactly. So I did tell my friend though. I was like, the only thing that I told him was when it first starts out, it's a little on the slow side. It's kind of just showing Karasuma and like Tenma's obsession with him. Yeah. With him and her trying to get with him. So, like, for the first few episodes, it's a little slow, but once it gets to, like, 4 or 5 episodes, that's when it kind of starts picking up, and you're like, oh, okay. Now's when the show's starting. So, but I like it. I think it was a good one. So
That's a good one.
that's what I'd tell people. Just School Rumble.
School
Rumble, guys. It's a good one.
All right. Well, next be fantasy.
Oh man.
For me, I would probably do Rune Soldier.
Really?
Yep. Like, it's actually unknown in the anime community.
That's the one with.
But I would really introduce that one. It's the one with Louis.
Okay.
He's a magician, but he doesn't really act like a magician.
Okay, I think I've seen a little bit. You showed me a little bit of that.
Yeah, the first episode of where he just runs in and hits an orc with his wand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this series is going to be great.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, did the magician just break his wand?
It's just like, well, I mean, I couldn't use it, so I just figured that's what I'd have to do.
Overall, it's like, it has that comedy in it,
Mm-hmm.
but it still has that serious undertone of the fantasy of like elves and magicians. Yeah. The religious cult kind of area.
Yeah.
Just interacting with people. And it's in that kind of like Lord of the Rings, medieval kind of world a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits all that fantasy aspect while still wrapping in of like, this is an anime, you know. And that would be my fantasy one to introduce to people.
That'd be your fantasy one? Okay. Man, that's a tough one because I don't really watch a lot of fantasy like anime. I don't know. Like, would you consider? See, I would want to say Fairy Tail, but there's so much going on in Fairy Tail that it's like it'd be kind of hard to. Yeah, it'd be hard to like kind of wrap your head like what exactly is going on.
Yeah,
you know. I would say Fairy Tail, but like I said, for that reason alone, I feel like people might have to like you know. Go like watch at least a little bit.
That one's a little too goofy to really start somebody in anime.
For like a fantasy. Yeah. Man, let me see. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to see if there's any fantasy that I've watched. Well, I mean, you showed me. I don't know if it would be technically considered fantasy, but you kind of showed me that Utawara Rumana,
yes,
whatever. And I liked it, you know.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a nice fantasy.
So, like the first one, not the one that is still on Crunchyroll right now.
The one that's still airing. Yeah. No, like I really like that one. That's a good one to watch. Mm-hmm. It's one of my top 10s actually. But I don't know if it's an introduction just because of the furry aspect.
Oh, because they're
cats. People have in their mind, like, my cousin is a furry. She goes to furry cons and stuff like that. But, you know, she told me about the community and stuff, and we might have her on here so we could actually do, like...
That'd be good.
A nice little actual conversation about furries.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But, people have in their mind a preconception of furries.
Okay.
And... they already have that added on of, like, they're weary about anime. Mm-hmm. That if you show them something like Utawaru, where every character has the cat ears and bunny ears and stuff like that, kind of throws them off.
Yeah.
So that would be my only thing. I would have them watch other stuff first.
Okay.
And once they're in anime, then show them.
Okay. That's perfect. But yeah, I mean, then for me, I really don't know because the only fantasy ones I've seen. I'm so
sorry. I keep like turning down your.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. You know, I forgive you. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I don't know then because, like I said, I don't really watch a lot of fantasy anime. Like I don't.
Well, we can do one. Action.
Okay, action.
What would be your action?
I mean, obviously. I mean, I have a couple with action. Like that's,
okay.
It's kind of tough. I mean, Cowboy Bebop for sure. That's sort of action, sort of like just smooth.
Well, we'll just. Know? It's like I'll come back to Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. So Cowboy Bebop. Trigun's another good one. I really love Trigun.
Yeah.
I feel like those kind of go hand in hand. Like if you watch
that's kind
Cowboy
of
Bebop,
like a western almost, and that one really
So I loved Trigun. What's another one? Samurai Champloo. I mean, that one's a little bit, I would say that one's a little bit more for mature audiences, like, not necessarily for like, I mean, I'm not saying
Samurai
that kids.
Champloo is good, but it comes back to that goofiness.
Yeah.
Because of how they add the hip hop to the old samurai fighting.
Yeah.
Kind of adds a little goofiness.
You think
that
so?
would throw people off.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wow. I actually kind of liked it because of the hip hop. So.
I hang out with a lot of comic book guys.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of their complaints with anime and stuff like that. So I could kind of pick up on like what I could show these people, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I personally thought that the hip hop concept was cool.
Oh, I love the hip hop crowd.
Yeah, it's like okay, getting
so
into
silly.
it kind of makes it, bob your head a little bit. So, but I mean, I guess that would be 3 for me that I would recommend to people. Be like, yeah, watch these shows.
Yeah, probably mine would be Trigun as well, just because it has that Western kind of aspect to it, and the fact that Vash is so much better than everybody, but he doesn't want to kill, just adds that aspect of how good he is at fighting, that he's doing all these different things just so he doesn't have to kill these people.
Exactly. Like dodging all these bullets and like sometimes even getting hit by them just so he doesn't have to kill them and stuff. So, but that's a good one. I really like Trigun.
Oh,
and the movie was really good too. Like
I was sad that the movie was a in-betweener.
Yeah.
It was like in between the series. I was really hoping it was going to be a sequel.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But it was good.
All right. Here's a good one. Thriller.
Ooh, Thriller. Go first, man. I'm going to have to think on this. I'm going to have to think on this one.
For me, it would have to be Death Note.
Okay.
It's like, Death Note gets a lot of flack. You either have people that absolutely love it, or you have people that absolutely hate it. Very rarely do you have people in between. For me, I really enjoy it. Like, it's not one I would watch over and over again.
But it's something that you enjoy.
But it's something I'd enjoy. It's something that if you haven't watched anime, you could actually watch and enjoy. Because there is no goofiness to it.
Yeah.
And there's no overly ecchi things in it. And it makes you think. It's like you've got this whole like chess battle against Light and L. And the whole concept of writing somebody's name down and killing them is just intriguing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's one that you're just sitting on the edge of your seat going, are they going to catch him? Is L going to catch Light? Is Light going to get rid of L? It's
like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So
that's one I would really, for somebody who hasn't watched, that would be a really good one to jump in on.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I've never seen Death Note myself, just because, again, that's one of those that's like, I want to watch it, but I have to make time to actually sit down, and I'm watching so much stuff. Because I've heard that it's good, so, and I mean, I know, even though I haven't watched it, I've heard such good things about it.
Yes.
That, it makes me interested in, like, watching it. But at the same time, I mean, even though I haven't seen it, I would recommend it to people and be like, yeah, like, you hear constant, like this show has raves, like, people rave about this show. So obviously it must be good. I personally haven't seen it, but, the reviews and stuff don't lie. Exactly. So that's a good one. Any other thrillers that I'm trying to think of? To be honest, I mean, I don't know. Could you consider...
I mean, there's a lot out there, but I don't think they're on the level of this would be the thing to introduce somebody.
Yeah, because I've seen a couple, I've seen a couple thriller animes.
Yeah.
But they weren't, it was something that I feel people who haven't seen anime wouldn't necessarily get into
Yes.
until they got into anime a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I really like the show Batum,
Oh, yes.
and I thought that was a fantastic show.
That's a good thriller.
Yeah, but this was after I had seen anime for a while. And obviously there's a couple scenes of, like bras and panties, stuff like that. But it was a good one because it's, the whole concept of, man, this guy's ranked top 10 in this video game called Batum in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, all of a sudden he's kidnapped and he's on this island with 30 other people.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much having to play Batum in real life, which is, like Call of Duty except with bombs instead of with guns. And they have to like stay alive and they have to try to beat each other out, getting the supplies and all this other stuff.
All the other crap.
And it's really good. It's like it's got blood and stuff. And, it's got blood, so it's got to be
good.
good.
Thriller,
Yeah, but it's like I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting just maybe TV 14 or something rating, but it was like rated like mature. And after watching it, I was like, oh, I can see why. But it was really good. It was really good, and I would recommend that to people, but maybe just a little bit after they get into anime a little bit more. Plus, on top of that, I think that's going to be my theme song for the week. So,
all right. Well,
because its theme song's so good.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Let me think.
Well, for me, my sci-fi is going to actually be the top list.
Okay.
Only because it fits in the sci-fi category, and it's the one that overall I'll be suggesting to people.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. I guess, that would be a sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like that one, just the whole space odyssey and everything, and it has a very Firefly feel to it.
Yeah.
That really, really draw in people.
Okay.
There's the comedy aspect to it, but it's not so over the top that it's goofy.
Yeah.
So it's still watchable by normal people.
Yeah. They're not like, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get the jokes.
I don't get the jokes and everything.
That's good. Okay, well, definitely if we're putting Cowboy Bebop in the sci-fi category, then that's going to be my sci-fi pick as well. Just for the simple fact that it's so good.
Yes.
And before I watched it, I remember you were telling me, you and Zach, you guys were telling me, you should watch this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it and I'm like, I'm so glad I watched this show.
I'm so glad I watched it.
Because it's, it was so good. Like you said, it's got comedy, it's funny, but it's not over the top funny.
Yep.
It's relatable, as far as the comedy aspect. The characters are intriguing. You get to learn more about them and their past and just, they're not one-dimensional.
They're not one-dimensional characters. They actually have like depth to their character.
There's action, there's, just fighting and, there's like the soundtrack is incredible, got that jazz feel. And,
yes.
It just, it's almost like, it's just them living in the world the same as ours, only it's in outer space. You know? So if that's gonna be the sci-fi category one, then yes. If we're putting that in the sci-fi category, then yes, that's my pick.
All right.
It is really good.
It's very good.
So watch Cowboy Bebop if you have not seen it, because it is fantastic.
All right. Well, top list.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Mojo put as their top gateway anime as Full Metal Alchemist.
Ooh.
Which I wholeheartedly disagree with.
Okay. And do you care to explain why? Because I honestly kind of disagree too, but I'll let you.
With Full Metal Alchemist, it's a good show. I'm not going to deny that. It's a great show. However, it's not one you would first introduce to somebody that hasn't been in the anime.
Yeah.
Because we're coming back to that goofiness. Unfortunately, it's like goofiness throws people off. and it's
like too much goofiness.
Yeah, too much goofiness. And there's so many scenes in Full Metal. Yes, there's the serious stuff of like, you know, the whole thing of him or the brothers bringing their mom back with alchemy and stuff, you know, and him losing his arm and leg.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's the seriousness to it, yeah. But there's still too much goofiness and over the top that's not the... Like, I would introduce that series to people, but that wouldn't be the first choice to introduce to people.
You got your cat playing over there?
My cat's playing with his toys.
But, yeah, no, I mean, I disagree with it being the number one as well, just because, kind of like you said, I mean, it is funny, it does have serious, you know, aspects to it, and it's a great show, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like you would kind of have to watch a little bit more anime, to really understand. Exactly. Like, that's weird that we said that at the same time. Just because there's so much going on in that show.
Yes.
You know? There is funniness, you know, there's goofiness and silly jokes and all that. But then it gets serious, and then there's that whole alchemy factor to it, and then there's the government and politics, and then there's, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff to kind of wrap your head around. Yeah. And, you know, you're still trying to figure out, well, are they ever going to find what it is that they're searching for? Like, are they ever going to be able to...
The Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, exactly, the Philosopher's Stone. Like, are they ever going to, you know, find it? Like, are they ever going to... You know what I mean? Because it's just... If I feel like sometimes it just kind of goes everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's not one you would... Like, if you were just coming into anime...
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you don't show somebody Evangelion who's never watched anime before.
Exactly.
Because Ava has so many...
Or Attack on Titan.
Or Attack on Titan, yeah. There's so much depth to the show itself. It's a great show.
Yeah.
You know, Attack on Titan, Evangelion, Fullmetal Alchemist, they're great shows, but they're not shows that somebody who's never watched an anime before...
really like...
Yeah, who's really going to like it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I've even had people that never really watched anime before. Like, my friend, you know, she had never really watched anime, and she ended up watching an episode, I guess, of Attack on Titan. Mm-hmm. It was, like, somewhere, like, episode 5 or something, I can't remember. And she's just like, I mean, it was cool, but I don't really understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And partially because I'm sure she ended up watching not the first episode, obviously. But even still, like, that show in of itself, you know, you got giant naked men and, you know, running around eating people. And, you know, I mean, obviously it's like bloody, gory, you know, it's got action and swords
all the
and
things
all
that Americans love.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, that aspect alone, for somebody who's never really watched anime, they're going to look at that and be like, I mean, this show's cool, but what's up with the naked guys? Like, what? I don't understand this. Like, why are they eating people? Why are they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas for somebody who's watched anime a lot, you'll just be like, oh,
okay, just kind of accept it.
So this is the concept of the show. Okay, cool, you know? But yeah, no, Full Metal Alchemist is, it's good, but, you know, and I mean, I've even had friends that, you know, they occasionally might watch anime and, you know, they've come across the show and they've watched it and they've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, for somebody who's never really watched anime before, I wouldn't recommend it as the first show, like the show that you need to watch.
Yeah, because a top one, that's the one you would be like, this is the one, no matter what genre they like.
Yeah, this is the one that you're going to watch. I would not recommend that, like, as the one that they have to watch regardless of anything.
Yeah.
Like, I would, for me, that would be Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
That would be my...
That's what I was about to say. It's like, yeah, Cowboy Bebop is top sci-fi, but overall, the one that you would introduce to people is Cowboy
Bebop. Definitely, for sure.
Because...
But what about Pokemon?
Pokemon...
I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding.
It's like, we don't want to go into Pokemon. It's like, everyone loves the games. The show is not something that people would be
once they got rid of Brock, it was done. it was done. It was done. I was like, no, I can't watch the show anymore.
But yeah, I mean, Cowboy Bebop, for somebody who doesn't watch anime, most of Cowboy Bebop, it follows a story, but not every episode is like one long
Yeah, it's like
story. It's kind of like every episode is kind of its own thing.
they got a job to do. They do the job.
Exactly.
But in the end, they're still trying to obtain their goal.
Yeah, and it's like, it's one that you could watch 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden you're watching 6 and 7, and you're just like, okay, things happen. It's just like, I'm going to say it again, it's like Firefly. It's really like Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though they're still in that like sci-fi aspect, they're still using like regular guns. There's no like lasers and stuff.
It's just like pistols.
And then like we've got the cool swordfish fights and the everything.
Exactly.
So it's like overall, this is the show. If you've never watched anime, you could watch and enjoy as being a show.
Yeah.
Because it's so closely related to being a live action.
Yeah.
And that's really where you have to rate anime, or not rate anime, but rate gateway animes, is could this show pass as a live action show?
And yes, it could.
And yes, it could. That's really where gateway animes come from, because that's what turns people off, is that it's a cartoon.
Uh-huh.
In their mind, anime is a cartoon that little kids watch on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to introduce people, if a show is able to pull off being a live action, like it might not have a live action. Some shows do, some don't.
Yeah.
But if it could pull off being a live action show and still be enjoyable, then that's the show you want to introduce to somebody. Exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, dude, you're absolutely right. Like, it's a fantastic show. And then, it's funny because one I was going to say that we forgot was Slice of Life.
Oh, like, Slice of Life. Yeah. Or you can jump back to it. Slice of Life. What's your Slice of Life?
That's a tough one because I've seen a couple Slice of Lives that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But then again, you also have to remember with Slice of Life, and I think we talked about this before, you can't just binge watch a Slice of Life anime.
Yeah.
And that might be a tough one for people to like get into, for the simple fact that it's just kind of there for easy viewing.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, oh man, I'm going to get into this show and I'm going to really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense? So for me, and I have to be careful with this one.
I think with this one, we really need to combine two.
Yeah.
A slice of life and romance kind of together.
Okay.
Because if you do just a regular slice of life anime, I don't think somebody would get into it.
Okay. Dang it. See,
did I just mess it up for you?
No, you didn't. It's cause okay, I'll tell you what, like, I'll give you some of the mentions that are in my mind, but I haven't picked any yet.
Okay.
Like, first off, I like the show K-On!, with the girls that they're just in high school and they form the band and, they just kind of enjoy, the time with each other and practicing. They want to quote unquote get famous, but they barely practice. You know? And then, Non-Biori was the one that I told you where it's just like girl moves to the country.
Yeah.
Very, small city. Well, not city, but very small, just countryside town. School's not big, and it just kind of follows her and her friends that she's made. Just kind of having little tiny adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Hyoka is another one. Because that's the one where I was telling you about, like, it's a guy who's pretty pessimistic. And he just kind of doesn't really care about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But then he kind of has like a small little crush on like this girl. And go figure, he ends up actually being really smart when it comes to solving mysteries.
Yeah.
And so she'll come up to him and be like, hey, I want to know why this is happening. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't really feel like doing anything, but I guess I'll help. So I guess this is why this happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then another one is Genshiken, which that would be cool, but it's the simple fact that it's centered around them looking at like Doshinji.
Yeah.
And them being into anime as an anime.
Yeah,
you know?
That's one, it's like, I love Genshiken, and that could be a show to show people, only for the simple fact of we're coming back to, could this show be a live action and still be a decent show? And I really think Genshiken fits that bill. Out of the ones you mentioned, like K-On!, Nanbori, Yoka.
Nanbori, oh my gosh.
But it's like, those are still kind of just little goofy. But it's like with Genshiken, all the character designs are different. There's no like Baishoden kind of characters. They all have like distinct features. You know, they're almost like, they're not like cartoony, but they look like regular people. You know, you have the fat guy, you have the like skinny nerd.
Yeah.
You got kind of like the normal guy, and you know, all the characters kind of fit real life people.
Yeah.
So if somebody who's not into anime, I would kind of introduce them to Genshiken as a slice of life. Yeah. Only because it fits the genre of just,
you know, being normal.
Yes, thank you.
No, I mean, I figured that's where you were going at. But, yeah, no, and I agree. Like, all these other ones I mentioned, they were good slice of lives. But, you know, even like Hyoka, it's kind of got that, you know, that feel of, okay, so what exactly is going on?
It's really hard to introduce to people.
Yeah. Plus, it's like kind of goofy. Like, the girls all, you know, oh, tell me! You know? And he's just kind of like, okay.
And that's why whatever. I like Genshiken. Genshiken is so much more relatable. Because usually if you're introducing somebody to anime, they're already a geek.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to watch something if they're not a geek. I mean, you're not going to go up to a football fan and show them anime normally. You might, but
I mean, obviously you'll go up to John Cena and you'll show him anime
because he likes anime.
Because he likes it, you know, according to your news reports. But yeah, I mean, Genshiken's a good one. Again, like I said, the only thing that I would say is just the fact that they're like looking at Doshinji and stuff.
Yeah,
and you know, people getting into anime and be like, why are they looking at like?
But see, then they kind of explain of like that's the otaku culture, and they even have
that is
the true. Girl who's totally against anime. So they can even kind of relate to this girl who's not into anime at all.
Yeah. And
she's being introduced into this culture.
Yeah.
So not only are they watching this show about anime geeks, they even have a character to relate to.
Okay.
So in a way, it's almost, wow, that actually might be, now that I'm like, kind of explaining, I think it might actually beat Cowboy Bebop on being number one.
Really?
Only because of its whole aspect of introducing characters to the otaku culture.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's funny that you say that because I would, now that I'm thinking about it too, I would agree with the fact that I think it would be a good show to like show people who are getting into anime because they can relate and be like, okay, so this is the culture, and this is why they act like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, even though, like, it just goes back to the fact that it is just a slice of life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most people would be looking for, like, an action type of show. Like, for example, you know, you got shows like, you know, Arrow and like, you know, Flash and, you know, Walking Dead and stuff like that are really action packed, that are really popular, you know, now, and everybody watches it. I think
that's the only way Cowboy Bebop tops it now.
Is
because it has that
action and relatability, whereas Genshiken just kind of has that really relatability, but there's not much action because it's so relatable.
Yeah,
it's just
more down to earth.
Yeah, it's literally just everyday life.
Yeah,
you know. So, man, that's funny. I didn't
even really.
I didn't realize that either. Wow, that's crazy. But
oh man, well, we've gone on for a little bit here.
Yeah. So then, Cowboy
Bebop is our number one,
and then Genshiken's a close second. Second is so. All right, cool. I dig it.
So we've totally debunked Watch Mojo's gateway anime list.
So, but I mean, it was. Oof. It was, man, I kind of want to watch Cowboy Bebop now again,
I know.
you know? Now we've been talking about it so much, I just want to watch it again, because it's so good.
Well, you wanted to talk about it last week, so we've decided to do our theme song of the week.
Yes. Steven and I were talking, and because I enjoy theme songs from anime so much, we decided that we were going to have like a theme song of the week, you know, that we just really enjoy.
Yep.
Or I enjoy, or he enjoys, or, you know, and then maybe one that we don't enjoy so much.
Don't so much.
And we would just, you know, kind of chit chat about it, you know, and if you guys have any songs that you like, that you listen to, you know, let us know too, for sure. But like I said earlier, mine for this week is going to have to be the Batum opening theme. The first one, because the last episode, for some reason, they decided to have like a second opening or something, like literally for the last episode, like just something completely different. It really wasn't that good, but
it might be they were playing for
a
second season.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but
that's what they usually do. Sometimes when they switch themes, they're preparing for the second season.
Yeah.
But I don't think did get a second season?
It didn't. It didn't get a second season.
Okay.
I think the manga was still going, but it didn't get a second season.
No, but I really liked the Batum theme. It had a nice beat to it.
Yeah.
It's in Japanese, so I don't know what she's singing.
Yeah, but it's so good. Like, I remember watching it and just seeing the opening, and because sometimes I do that. I'll see the opening to an anime and I'll be like, I want to watch the show, you know? And just watching it, to me, it was just so epic. Like,
yeah.
Especially at the end, whenever they're all standing next to that cliff and it shows the characters that are like part of, you know, the whole, you know, island game or whatever. It was cool. And I know it sounds nerdy, but I thought it was legit. But that one's gonna have to be mine for this week. The first opening, just because I thought it was so epic, you know. And I mean, I even have it as my alarm, like to get up in the morning because I like it so much.
Oh man.
As far as the ones that I don't really like, I told you this last week. I really, for some reason, just did not like the Azumanga Daioh opening.
Yes, you've said that before.
I know. That has to... Yeah, but see, that one might have to go in, like, my top worst spot. Like, I just did not like the opening to that show at all. Like, the show was good, but the opening to the show I didn't like.
Yeah.
So, that's my personal opinion. I don't know about you.
I mean... It was good. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, great, but it was an opening for kind of preparing you for what the show was, of just kind of a slice of life, you know. You know, it was very calming, and it kind of prepared you for what you were about to watch.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. I don't know why. I tried to like it, and I tried to watch it a couple of times, you know, because I tried to, you know, not skip the opening sometimes. But I could not do it, and I was like, I have to skip this. I can't watch this, you know? So, but that one's just the one that I don't like. I don't know. Like, maybe you can play it or something. I don't know. Actually, don't, because if I listen to this, I'm gonna be like, I hate you for playing this. But yeah. So for me, definitely, I would say Batum is a positive, awesome theme song to listen to, and the Azumanga Daioh one is the thumbs down.
So if you're sitting around and you just want to listen to a song, check out Batum.
The Batum theme song, the first one.
The first one.
So, and then I think you said that you wanted to talk about one more thing too. Like, I guess you got the Sword Art Online game.
Yep. I got. While everybody else was buying Star Wars Battlefront, I went and bought Sword Art Online, Lost Song.
And Battlefront.
I did still buy Battlefront, but in between Battlefront, I've been playing Sword Art. And I have to say, it's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. It's what I was expecting. or well, not really what I was expecting, but it's like, it's a Sword Art Online game that takes place in the ALO world, where there are fairies and everything. And it's exactly what you expect. You have quests, you go out, do quests, and that's it. you interact with the other characters while Kirito builds his harem even bigger. I mean...
That's actually the main point of the game, is just to build your harem as high as it can go.
Harem Online.
Yes, exactly. That's a great one to get people into that don't watch anime.
Oh, God. But, really, the game mechanic itself, I like that you could upgrade the different weapons. Mm-hmm. So if you really liked one sword or something, you could upgrade it to make it, or not upgrade, but enhance it to make it stronger instead of having to switch to a sword you didn't really like, but you were like, oh, it's stronger, so I have to use it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool aspect. So it has all the RPG aspects of it. It doesn't seem the leveling really matters. Like, you start out as level 100 because it takes place in the world. They've been in the fairy world for a while, and a new update comes out, and that's where you are now. You're exploring the new world that got updated.
Yeah. So
all the characters are still level 100 and everything. So you're just leveling off of that, which is basically level 1, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't really seem to matter. Because I'm still doing the same amount of damage. All I'm doing is upgrading my weapons, and then I'm doing more damage.
Oh, okay, because you upgrade.
Yeah, so it doesn't really seem like your level really matters. Because your stats aren't changing. And it's literally just like, you've reached level 145. Okay, do I get anything?
No.
Nope. You're just level 145, enjoy.
Wow.
So it's like the leveling doesn't really matter. It's more of like getting items, enhancing those items, getting necklaces, rings, all the RPG kind of aspect.
Yeah.
But playing it really seems like it was when I was playing it on PS4 because that's what it came out on over here in North America. And I was
still with the Japanese voices.
Still with the Japanese. It's one of those games where all they did was translate it. They didn't dub it or anything. All they did was translate. So playing it felt like a PSP game, which I went and looked it up, and it was a PS Vita game. So that put a little more perspective on its limitations as an RPG of what you could actually do, and it makes it a little more sense of why leveling doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the fighting, that's my really only big flaw of the game, is the targeting system. Because you sit there, you hold down L1 to target, and you target an enemy, but it doesn't stay on that. It just activates your targeting system. So you can be attacking one dude, and if another enemy flies by or something, it'll target that enemy. So you're sitting there trying to attack this one guy, and all of a sudden, Kirito changes directions and starts going towards the other guy, and you're like, what are you doing? No, attack this guy. So that's very annoying. However, I do like that you're not stuck with just using Kirito.
Yeah. You can use, every character.
You can use every character. They have it, you have a 3-man team, and you can switch out your main dude and the other 2 dudes to be anybody.
Or dudettes.
Mostly dudettes, because there's only 3 guys so far, at least.
Kirito, Agil, and
Klein. Which David would love, because he can play as Klein. But really, that's it. And what drew me to the game at first was because I heard you could do character creation, which is probably the worst character creation ever. Because it's literally, all you're doing is creating a separate character for Kirito. That's all it is. It's another character because you're still going through the story as Kirito. But you're just using this other
So it's like another
avatar.
skin. It's like a different skin.
It's like you're basically creating another skin for Kirito.
Yeah.
And
he
even
just doesn't,
that...
And he just doesn't look like Kirito.
Yeah, even that, it's like, there's the 9 races or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but they're all generics, and the only thing you could change is the hairstyle and the hair color.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, man.
So and there's only 2 hair colors. 2 hairstyles and 2 hair colors.
Okay.
And you can't change
the
gender.
How do they look?
You can't... They just look like the generic from the show.
What's the color, though?
Well, it's like, the salamander, the red ones, they're in the, like, red armor. They're in the red armor. And the hair, you can either have it down or all spiky straight up. And then you either have it red or brown hair.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, this is the worst character creation ever. I was really expecting, I was like, oh, character creation in a Sword Art game? Oh, cool, I can make my own Sword Art character.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, they wanted it to look realistic, like...
Oh, you can still do it, but it makes sense now that I know that it was a PS Vita game.
Yeah.
Because of the limitations on the PS Vita.
Yeah.
Kind of puts in perspective of, they couldn't fit a full-on, like, Fallout 4 character creation.
Yeah, but, yeah. It is what it is.
Story-wise, I'm enjoying the story. It's a normal Sword Art story. It's kind of like, in the second season when they went and, fought, like, the Odin or the Frost Giants or whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
It's kind of like that. And, it's just a basic adventure. Okay. There's no, like, oh, we're all stuck in the world again and blah, blah, blah. Life and death. Oh, we had to save this person. No, it's just a regular adventure. So, I mean, overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Just because of its limitations on some things. But overall, it's a fun game.
So, hey, that's not bad, especially for something that was ported over from the PS Vita.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good. But I'm glad that you enjoy the game. Like, it sounds fun. I mean, I've seen you play it a couple times, and it seems interesting.
Yeah.
So, it's just, I don't have a PS4, so I can't, I can't go ahead and buy it. Yeah. I mean, I can buy it, but I can't play it.
Yeah.
But that's good though, man. Like, I'm glad you're enjoying the game. But anyway, it's starting to get a little on the late side. Wow, we said the same thing again. We really need to stop doing that. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. Like, is there any last minute things that you kind of wanted to tell our listeners? Or
no, I mean, if you like the idea of a top 10, most likely I'll post things on like Facebook of like what the top 10 we're going to talk about next week or something, and then you could put your suggestions.
Okay.
Of what you believe would be your top of whatever the subject is.
Yeah.
And make sure to like us, subscribe, or whatever.
Do all that social media stuff. So that's good.
We'll get on Twitter at some point.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah. I mean, you guys can follow us there too. But
yeah.
Don't expect a response. I'm just being honest.
Being perfectly honest, we mostly check Facebook more
than
Twitter.
Yeah. That's good though. And then, like, I guess for me, like I said earlier, if anybody has any theme songs or anything that they like,
let
us know. Maybe it's something I haven't heard yet. And, I'd love to listen to it. And then also, like, if you guys just have any questions in general,
I mean,
or anything you want us to talk about,
we love answering questions.
Exactly, we do. So ask away. Also, one last thing is, we do have some other special surprises in store for this show. I know you said
that's what we said last week.
I know, and look what we did this week. Something new. But like you said,
we'll be having a lot of guests on the show coming up in the next couple weeks.
Exactly. I know you said your cousin with the whole furry thing, and then
I don't think we're gonna have a show next week, only because of Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
But we'll pick up right after.
Okay.
And with the holidays coming, probably not Christmas or New Year's either, unfortunately.
Oh.
We might get a New Year's. Let's get a New Year's.
Okay, that sounds cool.
We'll do New Year's, but we won't be for Christmas.
All right.
enjoy your family on Christmas.
Yes, definitely. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for staying with us this entire time.
Yep.
And just hearing us talk about random stuff.
Random crap.
Exactly. Hope you guys have a good week, and we shall see you guys soon. All right.
All right. See you next week.
All right. Bye.
朝起きてによって携帯忘れて乗り遅れたどこの窓に映る人生何も中で誰にも負けない一つがあるにはあるけど悲しいから人知れずだけども早くは走れないそんなに丈夫にできてないいざ行け不屈の今日の悲しみを過ぎ去ってゆけ元気あげ二の足二の舞人よ人よに夢見がらさらば悲しみを